Welcome. I'm here again in Florida with my good friend Dr. Robert Morse. Hi. And today we're going to talk about this subject of detoxification, which is the great baby and heart of Dr. Morse, and he is the grandmaster of the subject, I would say. So I was thinking there is so much talk about detoxification and what it is and what it does, and many people think it is a little thing that you do for a couple of weeks. Or it's something that you eat or drink that is doing the detoxification. And I wanted Dr. Morse to get the opportunity to talk about the simplicity here, to talk about what detox really is. We put this label on this, but it really is the body doing its thing, cleansing itself.
It is.
Yeah.
And you hit it right on the head, Hilly. Detoxification isn't something that you're doing. You're giving the body the tools to clean and repair itself.
Yeah.
And that's totally what it is. Nature does the same thing. If nature needs to fast you, it will. It'll take your desire for food completely away from you. You see that in advanced cases. Mm-hmm. You see it in the animal kingdom. Mm-hmm. When they get sick, they withdraw from consumption of food and let the body heal itself.
Yeah.
And it's just energy management with the body. We have time management in the mind areas and stuff. The body has energy management. And if you think you can go out and work hard and eat all the acid-forming foods and get healthy out of that, or have the body fix itself out of that, the typical diets that man is consuming right now puts the body in a defensive mode. So your body's trying to deal with the chemistry most people are putting in, let alone try to clean itself and fix itself. Mm-hmm. And the foods are so cationic, so acidic that they agglomulate. They create agglomulation, coagulation. In other words, everything gets hard and stick, just like you know for sure.
Yeah.
Everything just hardens like a rock.
So once you eat the food that are not made for man, you are standing in the way of detoxification. Totally. Because you are supposed to detox every day.
Totally.
Just from cellular waste.
Totally.
Not from the food you
right.
eat, but from cellular waste.
Cellular waste.
You need to clean everything. If you have a car, the motor, you need to clean it.
Yeah.
And
I mean, think about this. Every day you have to eat in the kitchen. You have your breakfast and your lunch and your
yep.
dinner, but then you have to go to the bathroom. It's a natural process. You don't think anything about it. And that's what your body does.
Yeah.
But the bathroom is just what you said, at the cellular level.
Yeah.
And how many cells do we have? 100 trillion or more?
I hear.
It's a lot.
That's what you tell us.
It's a lot of poo-poo.
Yeah, I know. So
it's a lot of cell poo-poo.
Yeah.
It's got to get out of the body. People don't think about that. No one ever told them that the body has a sewer system in it.
So to go on a detoxification program is really just stopping putting more waste in so that the body can do what it needs to do, to clean itself.
Well, you know, the funny part about this is that all you have to do is start eating the diet your body's designed to eat. That's all you have to do.
Yeah.
And your body immediately starts to clean and repair itself. And you can see from that position of eating a fruit diet, since we're frugivores, we're islander species, what that does from an omnivorous meat, grain, bean, that type of diet, the tremendous difference. One will distort you, make you hard as a rock, as you know, and one will free you from that.
Yeah.
And it's just the types of chemistry you're ingesting.
So why is it so hard for us to see what we're made to eat? We can look at our teeth, we can look at our intestines.
Yeah, it's emotions, I think. You know,
yeah.
It's our emotional and our I don't know. Man is kind of living like an ostrich, in my opinion. Man, the human consciousness is slow to grow. Yeah. And it's just so in cycles. And then once everybody experiences this, trying to develop new habits. And the old habits just keep coming in. So think of it as a record player with all the phonographic records that are coming back now with all the grooves in it. That's how the mind is. And once you set your habits, you're stuck. Yeah. And it takes a strong, self-disciplined person to rise above the mind and start a new habit.
And once you do that, you can't go back.
That's it. Well, you start a new habit.
Because you see that it is also a destructive habit.
Yeah.
And everything else that keeps, pulling it is kind of...
It does, but there are some people that, because of fungus problems in their body and stuff, parasitic things, you see what I'm talking? Yeah, they pull back to the nasty food.
Yeah.
And they don't know any better. And of course, that's their comfort food.
Yeah.
And so they're pulled back to there. They don't always feel good. Like a lot of people left for the paleo diet. They're coming back now.
Yeah.
If you're in pain, or you're in where you were,
Yeah.
or you have what they call cancers, you don't want to eat acid diets. That just makes it grow. That acidifies you more, creates more problems.
Yeah, and when we talk about acidic diets, we talk about high protein diets.
High protein diets.
Of course, aside from everything processed and...
Well, we're going to put up this, the milk chemistry of human milk, monkey milk, goat milk, cow milk, almond, soy. We have the chemistry all laid out in these. We just want to put them up on the web for you to see them. But this chemistry shows you how little protein human mother's milk has.
Isn't that interesting?
It has nil next to none.
I know.
And get this, has nil next to none minerals.
Yes. That's even more
Isn't that
interesting.
shocking?
How is that for the green movement?
Exactly. How is that for the green movement?
Yes.
So when you talk about fruits and the power and the energetics, as you mentioned to me earlier, it's about the energy.
Yes, it is.
Chemistry.
It
Absolutely. Chemistry is just forming from the energy of it.
Because we need to we try to understand chemistry because we can rip it apart and try to put it back together. You know, little boys, they need to...
The little boys playing.
Yeah, want to take it apart and put it back together. But what about the energetic side?
Well...
It's a trust issue. It's trust between us and the Creator.
Well, it is. But you also have to understand creation a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, in our classes, we showed you how creation is kind of laid out that way. So you have to understand, everybody always heard the mind over matter. So we know that the mind controls everything in creation. That is your creative instrument in creation. You want something, you have to first image it.
Yeah.
Then you use your emotions to drive that image. How bad do you want what you're imaging?
Yes.
I want this new car. How bad do you want it? That's your emotional body pushing you.
Yes.
Then you have to take your physical body, go work for the money, and go buy it.
You have to take action.
You have to take
and that's
action.
what's missing in a lot of this. Because some people think you can sit down and meditate and get into that zone and visualize everything well and then just have a pizza and a cigarette while doing it.
Exactly.
Action needs to be present.
Now you hit on
That's moving energy.
You hit on a big one right there.
Right there.
You hit on a big one.
Because there are a lot of spiritual people that wants to do this and that is evolving, but they are missing the point where the physical needs action.
Yeah, totally. Well, you know, when you develop yourself more in awareness, your body seems to disappear from you, and you'll see that you're all raw, and you pretty soon you don't realize you have a body.
Yeah.
As you get the pain and all the acids out of your body, you'll realize that you don't have a body, and you're operating up here like you're a ball of light. And that's just what you're becoming because you're consuming what you just said. Yeah. You're consuming energy at the highest level that foods can give you.
Yes. And can you imagine the difference? I walk in the woods every day, picking the fresh dandelions, the plantains, the stinging nettles. You only need a few leaves of that compared to a whole bowl of all that green that people keep telling you need to have.
Exactly.
And that's because there's nothing in it, in that energy sense. You can rip it apart for the amino acids, I'm sure. But the energy you get from the woods, you're eating what you're supposed to eat.
Exactly. And if you notice, all animals, I think, pick on the herbs. Yes. Even the primates, all animals pick on the herbs. So there is validity to some extent on vegetable matter in the form of botanicals. Outside of that, vegetable matter becomes exceedingly difficult for the human to digest because we're so different than herbivores. Totally different.
Right.
And there's a green movement out there, and it should be a fruit movement.
Yes. And you can just look at me. I mean, I was on the green movement for years. You need to have a high-fat diet to live on greens because you just can't get your calories from lettuce. Yeah. I've been 3.5 years on fruits. Yeah. I'm not missing anything.
And look at your body. I mean, it's coming back. And it takes a while to come back from a rock. It does, and we've talked a lot about that, you know. Yeah. And that's the beauty of this. And I think people are just because of the medical community, people feel like they don't have any hope. Diseases are rampant, and you have no control over them, and yet medical doctor just made it up. Here's a good example. What does the word cancer mean in the medical world? It means damaged cells. Yes. So you have damaged cells, and they tell you have cancer. Everyone has damaged cells. Yeah. So all cancer is damaged cells. But when someone mentions cancer, people freak. If I said you had some damaged cells in your body, you wouldn't freak. No. But if I say you have cancer, you now death sentence. You're starting to write your...
Because you have a disease.
Exactly.
And that's another thing, I think, when we talked about the detoxification and what it is, people are led to this time misconsumption because we are led by the medical doctors to think that you fix the problem with a pill, you take something and you're better overnight. So we have lost the concept of time in this and what the body needs to do.
Sure.
And even
Absolutely.
people go on a detoxification, they come to me and they said, I've been doing this for 2 weeks, it doesn't work. I must be doing something wrong. I still have a headache and it's been 2 weeks. And I'm like, let's talk after 2 to 5 years.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I mean, we need to spread the word that the body is doing this and it needs time.
It does.
Because there's no pill.
There isn't. You know, the thing is, some people take more time than others.
Yeah.
And you're coming,
But if you're advanced, I'm talking chronic advanced cases.
Exactly.
You need time.
Well, you definitely need to. Think about this. There is the acute, there's the subacute, there's the chronic, and there's what we call the degenerative. What that means is, years ago, most people eating high-protein diets, drinking their milks and stuff, they created acute and subacute problems. Years and years ago, even medical doctors use herbs and things like that. We found an old medical doctor's handbag full of herbs.
Oh, cool.
And instructions which herbs to use for which complaint.
Yeah.
So medical doctors were using botanicals way before pharmaceuticals. Oh, look, we can make a lot of money here. So this was all being done the way it should have been done years and years ago, but they were treating symptoms. And the problem with treating a symptom, of course, is that you're not addressing the cause.
Yes,
but
and you're suppressing it.
You're suppressing it. So pharmaceuticals were great at suppressing acute and subacute problems. That's if you drink a milkshake, you get a sore throat from the mucus from it. That's an acute problem. Take a little antibiotic, suppress that, and you're good.
For now.
What happened to the mucus that were created from that milk, and you just locked it deeper into your throat.
That's why people have this same problem coming again
and again.
I have a UTI problem. I have a sinus problem. I have a pneumonia problem. Why do you think you do that? Because you take the antibiotics, suppress it back into the body, and it's just waiting. The body's just waiting for a chance to get it out.
People need to get that. People need to get.
It just wants to get it out. It wants to get well.
Well, that's why detoxification. That's it.
I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to feel this. I need to go to work.
Exactly.
Right?
That's the point.
Yeah.
Give me something to hide the symptom for now.
I
I'll
need
deal
to
with
go
it
to
later.
work. I need to live my life.
Exactly.
I'll deal with my body another time. I need to my life.
And that's the worst thing you can do, because what you suppress today is your nightmare from hell tomorrow.
Yeah.
Especially your tumors.
Yeah.
So you just have to realize what things really are. Instead of using the names and the fear tactics and things of medicals and diseases, stop and think, as we laid it out here, exactly how things are.
And that's where this simplicity of detoxification comes in, right? Because you're not doing any mumbo jumbo or taking anything to do. So detoxification is just, it's just stopping what you're doing that's hurting you. And that what we do with the herbs is we are strengthening and helping the weak organs that are not up to date to be able to do that cleansing or detoxification. Because that's mostly what we're concerned with, are the elimination organs.
Yeah, eliminative organs.
Yeah.
Yeah, no
and
kidding.
what we're doing with the herbs is just strengthening them to be able to do their job,
Absolutely.
right?
Totally.
So
actually, just what you said is that the diets man has been eating has actually, not we'll use the word destroyed, but has greatly broken down the kidneys and the GI tract. Look at most people are having either kidney problems or GI tract problems. Most surgeries, most people are into dialysis, their kidneys are failing, GI tract problems are all over the friggin' place. And these are the two eliminative organs, and what people don't realize is your kidneys are by far the extreme important things, and that is tied to the skin. There's 3 kidneys in your body, some people a little more, but there's 3 kidneys, the skin and your right and left kidney. And each one of those are vital eliminative organs for all the sewage inside the body. You know what I think the real problem was? No one told you you had a sewer system in your body.
Yeah, nobody told you the importance of the kidneys.
Exactly.
I talk to people that have no kidney problems, and then you talk to them and, oh, I have kidney stones, or I have problems with my lower back.
I have UTI, lower back.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Interstitial, whatever.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And nobody teaches that.
Nobody.
Because people are so into the blood. There's been a lot about the blood. The blood. And nutrition. Get the nutrition in. Nutrition in. Nutrition in.
That's man's. I think man's hyper focused on that, don't you?
And we're swimming this way.
Exactly. We're
more
and more.
More.
I knew a guy that just snapped open a suitcase and there's all his supplements, and that was his food for the day.
Yes.
And it's like, excuse me, you know what you said. You missed the energetics, the living, the breathing, the consciousness of the plant. Because what you said, chemistry is at one level of interaction.
Yeah.
How about the consciousness of the plant?
Yes.
Why is that plant there? What's the awareness of that plant?
What is the awareness?
Exactly. And
you're feeding yourself the awareness, and you're doing the same thing with the dead animals and the milk. You're feeding yourself that awareness.
Totally. Now, what people don't realize is that awareness, that's energy, goes and connects with the energy of the cells. There's a much higher thing going on here. Chemistry is the last thing going on in creation.
Yeah.
What forms it?
Yeah.
And that's getting back to the original creator, the consciousness, and how consciousness manifests form.
Yes.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah.
And people just need to learn this simple stuff.
And there's a lot of things you can do except for just eating fruits and taking herbs. Just taking your shoes off, walking barefoot on the beach or in the woods, hugging a tree, just starting like that, connecting. Find out which flowers or which plants around you where you live is edible and eat some of it raw.
Yeah, I used to eat dandelion green or flowers, daisies.
I love that. Yes.
Daisy, you know, you love me, that thing, you know, and eat the daisies.
And then eat them.
You just naturally are like this when you're
Children
living.
do that. Children do that.
They do that, and that's what we're farmers, so we have plenty of flowers and all kinds of things. And sassafras, we always ate sassafras leaves. So this is good, you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But city folk lose that interaction of.
And I think genetics also, because you pass it down genetically, and then you kind of obstruct the conscious by weakening the cells. You obstruct the pituitary, the pineal, everything.
Everything.
So that keeps us.
I think one has to understand the lymphatic system to understand detoxification. I think you have to understand what the lymphatic system is, and of course you know by our videos that they've just found the lymphatic system in the brain, the University of Virginia.
Lymphatic?
No, there's another one. No, that's another one.
That's another one on top of that.
That's another one, the glymphatic.
Yes.
The glymphatic she found about, I think, 4 or 5 years ago.
Probably.
That's another lymph system in the brain.
Yeah.
But another researcher, a male at the University of Virginia, found the actual lymph system of the brain. And it followed the arteries. Piggybacked.
But of course it did.
Piggybacked.
Of course it did. You knew this.
We all know that, but they haven't found the one at the base of the spine. And there's another big one at the base of the spine that takes everything to the kidneys. And so they just have to start paying more attention to the lymph system.
Yeah.
But there's so much into blood, and that blood is the least of man's problems. And it's like nutrition more, and you see us fighting even over YouTube on that sort of thing.
And that's what was the next thing,
and whether vegetables are better than fruit and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, you're using the intellectual mind to try and figure this out when all you have to do is observe the different species and the food these species eats without perversion. You have to say man is very perverted because he has migrated out of his tropical environment and has colonized this planet. But in doing that, he doesn't have the same food source that is required because he's into arid countries, he's into heavy cold climates and stuff like this.
So he's had to compensate.
You had to compensate, but compensating with that meant more protein.
So we're talking survival, not thrival.
Exactly.
And that's where we went wrong. We went into survival mode instead of thriving.
Exactly. And
now
we have to learn how to enjoy these climates, but how do we eat? How do we eat and stay well? And that means greenhouses or something. That means large greenhouses, huge. You know, someone sent me a picture of these pyramid greenhouses, and they were impressive as hell. So that's what we need all around the planet. But this planet has to first understand its love for each other. I mean, everybody's still killing each other in certain parts of the world.
Each person has to love itself.
Exactly.
Or himself, or herself. You cannot hurt something that you love.
Yeah, exactly. And I think man has to get to the fact that we're all brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
That we all come from the same source.
We love each other.
Exactly. And we come from the same source, and we're here to help each other, have fun, and be healthy, and enjoy the planet. Because you're only on here for a few years, and then you're off on some other journey.
Yeah.
So why not have fun while you're doing this? But on this planet, everything is so hard, so stressful. And there's so much narcissistic elitists out there that think they know better for everybody. And it's all about too much academics. If you think you know too much, you're better than another person, and some of those people actually know less.
That's great obstruction.
Great obstruction.
A great intellect can be a great obstruction.
The mind, you hit it right on the head, Hilly. The mind is probably your greatest obstruction to consciousness.
Standing in the way of your wisdom can be your knowledge.
Standing in the way of your awareness.
Yeah.
The mind's a completely conditioned instrument.
And we see it now what's happening with, without going too much into that, but the restriction that's happening or being laid upon the world on supplements for people to get. We were talking about that. I said that could actually be a freedom. Because we're talking isolates, we're talking chemistry, isolated chemistry, made in laboratories, and we don't want that.
That's why I could care less about that side of it, because all these isolates, and you can regulate them all you want.
What is the body doing with that? If you put it in isolate, what do we really know about that? We can just imagine the imbalances and what it's doing.
That's it.
But we can't even know, because we're talking again energetics.
Right.
We're talking chemistry, but then we're talking energetics.
And even on the subtle levels of what they call methylation, which is how the DNA and chromosomes are nurtured and stuff. And so all these processes like that are disturbed.
Yes.
And so then it disturbs the genetic trunks. It just disturbs everything. And that's just what's happened.
And people are stuck in the sense that there is a lack in the body or a hole that needs to be filled. Like I lack vitamin B, something. And I need to fill that. So we're not taught to look at the reason that we come out like that. So maybe there's some malabsorption there. Obviously there is. So we're not going to the cause.
See, you're hitting it right on the head now. Because until you fix, and we said this before, until you fix digestion, absorption, right, and utilization, meaning that you need a hormone or steroid to utilize these chemistries. Unless those things are all working, you cannot think you're deficient in anything. No. And I come to naturopath, of course, and I come out of the world of deficiencies. Naturopaths see the world as deficient nutritionally.
Yeah. And that everybody needs to take a supplement also because the soil and you can't get it from food.
I'll say this, you only pray that was all it is.
Yeah.
You just only hope that's all it is, because to be honest with you, that is nothing. Don't you wish you could just eat an apple and be healthy the rest of your life from that? It's a lot more. We have to go back and clean out all the residues of this dirty fuel we've been burning and all the weaknesses that we promoted and our families promoted behind us in the genetic trees. We've got to go in and fix all this stuff. If you don't, the kids are dying like right and left. How many young kids do we have on YouTube in the teens? Young teens, 13, 14, 15. These kids are waking up going, I got to get well. I've been suffering all my life. Here was a young man that wrote me at 15 years old, suffered all his life.
They're born with cancer.
Please.
They're born with asthma.
Exactly.
They're sick.
Exactly. Because why? So if you're born with these not diseases, what's going on here? And so you have to look at the body from a cellular and a chemical viewpoint. And I want to tie that back to what you said earlier, because a lot of the spiritual people get so much into consciousness, they think they can just wish or know their body well. I disagree with that.
Law of attraction.
I've been in the spiritual world my whole life, and I can tell you that you can think positive all you want, but you're still missing consciousness, and you're still missing the laws of the realm your physical body's on. You're not on this realm, your body is.
You need to walk your talk. You need to do also. It's very popular to say we're human beings, not doings. And that, we are here in a physical body, and that's a big misconception.
Yeah, we're all spiritual beings traveling around in creation, experiencing this and that, and that's how God's doing it. Everybody is part of that big consciousness called God. So everything is just experiencing itself.
Yeah.
But there's a point when you have to wake up from that. You have to start to wake up and go, oh, look, I was just playing in the field. It's time to go home, or it's time to develop myself into greater things. I've been playing in the field of dreams. Now it's time to get some reality going.
Yes. And we are part of nature.
Yeah. Well, the body is,
we have a physical body. Right. So the body is a part of nature.
Oh, you can't separate it. Yeah. I think that's man's problem. Too much concrete, blacktop.
Very
you
true.
Can't separate,
Cars.
exactly. You can't separate the human body from nature. But you also have to understand what level this human body needs in nature for chemistry. And it's an insult to me, it's an insult to think that we as higher level expressions need dead animal foods, their milks, we have to cook our foods and destroy our foods before we eat it, dead grains, dead beans, we all think those are all healthy, and somehow comes some semblance of joy out of all that.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
But the proof is in the pudding.
It's in the pudding.
Yeah.
Well, you've seen it for yourself. You
Yeah.
see it in so many cases.
And we see the other side.
We see the other side,
Yeah.
too.
We see where
Good
we're
stuff.
going. So to close this off a little bit about the detoxification, the simplicity, that just stopping what's hurting you. That's all detoxification is, in the sense of the doing. In the sense of what the body's doing, to understanding that is just doing its job of elimination.
Yeah, I think
Right?
if you looked at it simplistically, you could say that it is simply the body cleaning itself
Yeah.
and repairing itself with the chemistry that does both of those things.
Yeah.
And when you're using isolates, there's no repair to the human body, because this is a holistic move.
And the body's
Endeavor.
doing the job. Not anything
Exactly.
that you put in. You can't put in anything that is doing that job. It is the body that's doing it.
It is, totally.
Because
But
it is doing it while you're just water
it
fasting
shows
also.
then there's awareness there, right?
Yeah.
There's consciousness there.
Yeah.
And I think man has dreamed that God is some being hanging in the sky, and when he, with a big beard, and when he comes down, you know, that sort of thing. And he, of course, eliminates the female side. So there's so much man is injected in the educational side and the spiritual side of this planet that actually has no truth to it at all. You know, and so, but it's just the way the humans have developed, and they just seem to be hanging at a certain level. I mean, electronically and everything else, look at what we've done. Matter of fact, we've reached a point electronically where now we're backing up a little bit. You notice that? These cell phones like this, and now the businessmen want to go back to the flip ones like I've got, because they're real simple.
Yeah.
So I think you reach a saturation, just like an ionization. You reach a saturation, and then you have to back up a little bit.
Because you see, it's destructive.
It is. Well, that's it.
It's
It's destructive when everything else hasn't moved with it.
Yeah.
See, man is not moving his health and the world with it. He's moving his narcissistic elitist viewpoint with it. He's like, no.
But still, it's the part of the awakening now, because without the internet, where would we be?
Well, that is the awakening part.
Yeah, and then it's also showing us that it's destructing.
But exactly
Yeah,
it is. And you
so
can
it's
see,
like this two-sided sword, you know?
It is. It is
Yeah.
a two-sided
Yeah,
sword.
yeah.
And you're seeing more control of the internet and more wanting to control the internet by things. And then you see people that are not ethical in their beingness, so they use it for all kinds of things. And I just think that man has lost his, or if he ever had it, ethics and love for each other and things like that. And I think that diet has affected man so greatly. And this is a way to try this for yourself. Try about 4 months on raw foods. That's fruits, berries, melons, and a salad a day, let's say. And then go back to and see how it changes your persona.
Yes.
And then go back to an omnivorous, meat-eating, grains and things like that, and see how it changes your persona. See how your anger starts picking up. Your opinions and your judgmental attitudes of others start picking up. It's amazing to see the type of foods and how it affects a person's psychic.
And isn't that interesting, how the feelings are connected to our organs and our whole being? Because then you're touching something that I like the anger has a seat in the liver, and they say that the fear has in the kidneys. So then how energetic is this really? You know, and you can't separate it. That's why when people go on detoxification a program, they also have emotional releases. And you have to be ready for that. You know, it's not just the physical part. It's the emotional part.
What about the mental part?
the
Those are the ones that break away because they want to, well, I just add some digestive enzymes, that's all I need. Or I'll just add some probiotics. Or I'll just go over here and try this diet. Or I'll go to ketogenic, I'll do this and this and this.
Yeah.
In other words, your mind is your worst enemy.
Yes.
Your mind is disturbing your peace and your sanity. And so you're not looking and understanding, you're jumping. Your mind is controlling your journey. Can't do that. You got to stop, get beyond your mind, and start looking at truth a little more, and it'll make itself known.
Yeah, because we have the urge to understand. Our brain is eager to understand.
Well,
And there are things here you can't understand. You can perceive it, you can feel it, and you can know it.
well,
But you might not be able to understand it with your brain, with your mental brain.
Yeah, only consciousness, I think.
Yeah.
You bring up a good point. I think only consciousness can understand.
Yeah.
Because that's the awareness of everyone.
Yeah.
Is you, the consciousness. The mind is just thought process.
I know, and I'm not even sure that understand is the right word for consciousness.
Yeah.
Because Consciousness doesn't understand, it just knows.
It knows, but understand knows. Yeah, I think you're right. Pretty good on there, semantics. But the big issue is that the mind is just a body like the physical body, but it works with thought forms. And consciousness turns on the mind. In other words, you're the switch. Yes. Your awareness is the switch. And your awareness can be anywhere you want it. Your perspective. You can turn things on and off by your awareness. Yeah. You look over here, you turn the lights on in the bedroom. You move over here, you turn the lights off in that room, and now they're on in this room. Yeah. And that's the same way in your experiences. There's a lot of heavens, and your lights come on in this world, then it come off, and it comes on into another world. Mm-hmm. It comes on into another world. And that's all it is. That's you. That's consciousness. Yes. These bodies are just instruments of expression that we can use. You want to get on the highway and go real fast, you get in a vehicle. Mm-hmm. If you want to be in the physical world, you have to have a vehicle. Yes. Consciousness can't be here without a vehicle of the same nature, the same makeup, electrically and chemically, of this plane, but on the other planes, electrical. They're all mostly energetic planes. And we're in movement. We need that momentum. We need the action. We need to take action. Yeah, heck yeah. But the time, I think we should just close it with this perspective of time, because people ask me, how long does it take to detox? Wow. Right. You know, I personally think like you do, that detoxification is a part of life. Yes. And it's something you always think about. You might not always eat at the level that will keep your body clean. To expect people to live on fruits and berries and melons for their life is unreasonable. Yeah. So you when you get off of that, you feel it. So it might not be that unreasonable once you get clean. Right. Because then you might actually just want to stay there. You know, where our hope is with that on this planet is the babies. You parents that are feeding your babies raw foods are creating the future of this planet, and you're the blessed ones. Because these babies will not have the fight we have with the mind and emotions over foods, because you've already got them set in raw food eating. And these are the future of this planet. But they will need to go through a period of cleaning themselves up. They are born with weak bodies. This is totally. But if bear starts feeding raw, those weaknesses regenerate right out of them as they're growing, and you wouldn't even notice it. You could fix the next generation. Oh, well. Where could man be? Yes. You see what you guys are doing to yourselves. Yeah. Can you imagine a world where it's all, I mean, in this physical level, where it's all raw, when you get your foods are harmonious from birth and has been all the way back. There would be no war. Well, you see that on other planets. I mean, where do you see what's coming? You'll see the levels out there that are more. Once man loves themselves, there can be no war. Exactly. We're one of the more disjointed levels here. Yeah, and it's just so disharmony. But I think that, you know, you have so many of us now working to try to bring this harmony in, but then you still have those negative forces. Fight and change. Yeah. But everybody can start with themselves. Yeah. That's what's so beautiful about this. You have to. For each person that cleans themselves up and raises their awareness, you help the world. You have to. You have to. Each one of each right one on there. Is helping the world. Each one. Absolutely. 11-11. One by one. A true 11-11. Yeah. We stand as alone as individuals, but together as one. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. So we'll talk another time. Yep. Love you guys. Bye. Hello, my blessed ones. It sure is always fun to come and speak to you. You viewed a video that we shot just yesterday, and I thought I would leave it on here for you to see what you thought about Hildy and our discussion on detox. Probably a lot of you know Hildy, but when I first met her over Skype, and she was in bed with her limbs looking back at her, and bedridden. And so the difference is night and day, isn't it? So, you know, my hat's off to each and every one of you that work this program and get your wellness back. And that shows you can come back from extreme cases, and we have much more extreme cases than that we brought people back, even though that's pretty extreme. When you're hard as a rock, thin as a rail, and everything is distorted, that's not good. And that's extreme advanced acidosis. And to pull yourself back from that shows you the tenacity and strength that soul has, and each and every one of you that do this has. A lot of people bail out early. for one reason or another. They can't handle the ride. That's understandable. The ride's tough. But if you make the ride, guys, you win. You win. You win well, Bill. You get your spirituality back. You get your happiness back. You get your fun back. And that's worth a little self-discipline and focus. It really is. Now, we've got some questions to answer here. It was submitted, I guess. Please return to Shannon. And Shannon gave me some questions here, so I guess I'll just go through them and see where we're at here. Hey, brought some lymph capsules. Can't really smell the herbs a lot. Aren't you supposed to be able to smell herbs, especially if they're pure and potent? Or are there certain herbs that aren't that aromatic? Well, roots as a rule are not too aromatic, although if you got a good sniffer, you should be able to smell them. I always smell our herbs, so I don't know why you don't smell them, because it's pretty hard not to smell our herbs. They're all 100% organic and fresh, and as you can get them, you know. I mean, they're all dried. I only have a few fresh herbs that I use, particularly in the heavy metal detox. Chem metal detox, I use fresh parsley, fresh dandelion. I use fresh herbs in that one. But it's difficult having fresh herbs of all the varieties year-round. It's impossible. So this does well for considering the clinical application of this sort of thing. But yeah, that should, to me, it should be aromatic. But your aromatic is more obviously the flowers, the leaves can be aromatic if you bruise them and stuff like that. Some of the more roots and barks, not so much. So I don't know. But take them out, take a capsule out and put them on the tongue and taste them. See what you get. That'd be the next step to that, is take them out and see the strength in your mouth. That'd be real key. And if they're real weak, I'd like to know about it and how old is the bottle and, you know, all of that sort of thing, because we can smell our herbs on the shelves, all in bottles and caps on them. Thanks for all you do. Thank you so much, my friend. I'm a nutritionist and health coach, and I can't wait to take your course. Oh, thanks. I'm excited about this level, too. Definitely, I'm just now polishing up the program, especially for day one. Day one, I'm going to take you guys into a little deeper journey into the atomic and subatomic levels of life, just a little bit. I've been high raw vegan for 3 years now. My core diet is fruit. My PCOS symptoms have cleared dramatically. Excellent. That's polycystic ovarian syndrome. But I still have some other concerns. I'm having hair loss while grooming. Yeah, see, again, that means, how could you link those two problems? You know, when you're seeing cysts and you're seeing say ovarian cysts and hair loss, how can you connect those two? Remember, the body's broken up into systems. So how can we link those two? Exactly, through the lymphatic system. You can link them through the blood system too, but blood doesn't take off hair unless you don't get it to the hair follicles, then of course, but that isn't the case. This is definitely the lymph system. So that same lymph system that's causing ovarian problems is also causing scalp problems and everything else. It's suppressing. And when you start getting agglomulation, you start suppressing either blood or nerve flow or both. So all things start going down when the lymph system goes down. Blood is almost in your face when you have a problem with it. So, you know, it's right there. But as a lot of you are seeing, your blood works are beautiful. Yeah, a lot of you with the tumors and the cancer, diagnosed cancers and things like that. Keep in mind that when a medical doctor diagnoses you with cancer, all he's saying is you have damaged cells or your tissues in that area in the process of decay. That's all that is. That's all that is. And the only way you're going to fix that is not bringing in more acids to try to kill the decay, because it's already passing, is to revitalize these areas. stop the insanity of the lymph stagnation, fix your kidneys and adrenals, and get your lymph filtering again. This is a whole system. So the problem with systems is that they're systemic, meaning head to toe. So where you notice when you have problems, you tend to have it on one side of the body over the other. And that's only because kidneys control. And that also shows you lymphatic problems again. We're right back. It took me a lot of years in my face to get this. But the more we can show you simplistically and draw these analogies and show you that, you'll get it. And once you get it, then you got it. Now the process is working it. And I realize it's tough for a lot of you to move to a fruit diet. But you have to tell yourself you're on a tropical diet. Very, very important. Help yourself out with that, because it could be worse. And the worse, you could have to fast. For some of you guys, that's a fun thing to do. For me, it's not a bad thing to do. But for some of you, fasting is like, you mean I'm not going to be able to eat? I'm having hair loss, so you want to stop that. Myself, upper circ, get up in upper circulation, start going after the kidneys and your adrenals, because you got to get that to fix the ovarian syndrome. You know, it's funny, you're popping ovarian cysts, your lymph system's backed up. Well, let me tell you, what else is in that area? The vaginal wall, the cervix, the uterus. So this also means all those other tissues are vulnerable to atypical cell formation, endometriosis, fibroids. So all of that is tied to this pox. I have very cold feet and hands, so right there, thyroid. And I know they equate thyroid with hair loss, so let me tell you, same systems down in both. Now, here's the thing. What else might we think about? And we also want to look at your periods, wouldn't we? We also would want to look at your height. So where am I trying to take you? Trying to take you up to your pituitary gland. Because you want to make sure that it's your thyroid is what's low, not the pituitary sitting on it. Because if you go to a medical doctor, a lot of times they just treat the thyroid, no concern of the pituitary at all. It becomes too complicated. But we can't let complication affect us, because we have to know how to fix and what tissues to fix and all that other stuff. Not difficult either. So you might want to look at that, because it sounds like from here up you're engaged lymphatically. And of course you're definitely engaged in the female areas, so it's probably all the way up here now. So that just simply means that you want to be real careful, because the eyes, the central nervous system, everything is up here. So cold hands and cold feet, of course, is the thyroid. Now the question again is the pituitary sitting down on your thyroid? And the other question linked with that would be parathyroid. And if I can keep you guys in that loop constantly with these videos, you'll get it. And then pretty soon you'll be asking these vital questions. Then you get your blood work. You'll be able to look down at your TSH and see if it's low. A lot of medical doctors think if that's low, then your thyroid is hyperactive. Not necessarily. And hyperactive thyroid doesn't necessarily mean low TSH. It also could mean iodine stuck in the thyroid, acidosis, which is inflammation. Creates the inflammatory response. That can create hyperactivity of tissue, on and on and on. You could have a spastic bowel right where that controls the thyroid, because your bowels have neurological signals from the colon all the way up to all your tissues. So it can be a lot of different things. That's why you have to address your health issues systemically. You can't be taking supplements. You can't be treating yourself. You want to go after health systemically, head to toe. And boy, is it worth every minute you spend doing it. In every way. You get your life back, you get your body back, and you start growing spiritually. And for some of you, that's essential. I have BP of 90/60. What does that tell us? And 2. So you got 90/60, 2, 110/60. I'm wondering what that 2 means. Does that 2 mean that your blood pressure is doing this? And remember, we've talked about swinging blood pressure before. Swinging blood pressure, where's the problem coming from, guys? Cerebellum. Now, what system's down? Of course the lymph system's down, not the blood. Remember, the lymph system. So here's the cerebellum, inflammation, swelling. That's going to affect blurry vision in the eyes. It's going to affect communication between the autonomic and the central. It creates dizzy and equilibrium problems because that's your vertigo center, your equilibrium center, tied to your mastoids and ears. But 90 over. Now, if this is one arm and 110 in the other arm, it just shows you the difference in your adrenal glands. As a rule, you have 2 different levels of adrenal function and 2 different kidney functions. So we check blood pressure both arms. A medical doctor could check your left arm like they always do, and everything looked good, and you could be real low on the right side or real high. How would you deal with that, though? If you were real high on one side and low on the next, how would you do with blood pressure meds? I'm saying there's just not a lot of thought, deeper thought, in the allopathic community. We don't want to be that way. We want to know and have our act together. We want to know exactly how to deal with all these different levels, both sides of the body and everything else. I have dry skin and acne during ovulation. So it shows you as soon as you get a little acidic, bam, because estrogen is acidic. So you notice that when you add acids to acids, it kicks up the party. And that's just as what's happening. This is why chemotherapy kicks up the party, your party of death. And that's why you don't do acid on top of acids. This is explains exactly what happens. And a lot of you ladies see that. You see acne popping up when you have your periods and everything else. And it's just acid on top of acid. And that shows you how the degree your lymph system is involved. You get cleaned up like that in ovulation, everything's perfect. You don't even know it. Remember we talked about menses and the level of bleeding and all of that. And raw women, and particularly fruitarian women, only spot. No need to clean something that's already clean. Dead animal tissue does not create clean tissue. It's a putefactive, nasty smeller. And when you guys start detoxifying and you start smelling your urine, and you start smelling your underarms, and you start seeing the different dark colors of your urine, those are proteins. As our society says, have more. And then we'll take all your money from your sicknesses, and then we'll bury you and take all your kids' money while they're sick. I have dry skin and acne during ovulation. So your lymph system's backed up, but you're already showing me that through all this other stuff. The dryness of skin, of course, shows you dehydration. And this is interstitial dehydration. Can't just put some lotion on and say, oh, looky there, it's better. You should have natural moist skin. So it shows you that you're acidic and dehydrating on the inside of yourself. I have skin moles. It means you're full of fungus. When you have moles on the body, guys, what gland is down? I saw, you guys are good, the adrenal glands. Why? Sugar metabolism. And when sugar metabolism is involved, and you're consuming any sugar, simple or complex, it doesn't matter, you're not going to metabolize it properly, and guess what? Fermentation is going to come in. Who in nature creates fermentation? All you winemakers and beer makers know, absolutely, the fungal family, and moles are just part of the fungal family. Those that have weak adrenals and blood sugar problems that are unaware of it can have moles growing all over them. All over them. Mild thoracic scoliosis, again, I call it. Okay, so let's stop here. T-spine, thoracic scoliosis. So what's happening here, again, the lymph system's really backed up, and what else could I maybe tie this to? Cold hands and cold feet? In what way? Parathyroid gland. Remember, the gland that utilizes your calcium. Para, above and back, parathyroid glands. And they produce parathormone, which is essential to calcium utilization. You can't just take calcium and think that's going to fix the problem. You'll give yourself arthritis. So, you got to move your lymph, and I would work my neurolymphatic points down my back, get my kidneys filtering as quick as possible, hit your adrenals and kidneys, because this is showing you that your lymph system is backed up all the way up, and it's sucking calcium out of you, and you're not putting it back, so you're getting scoliosis. Let me see here. And the right leg length discrepancy. See? So I have a feeling, I don't know if you had growing pains growing up or what, how's your fingernails, if you had babies, do you have postpartum depressions and stuff like that? That's all parathyroid stuff. Do you see varicose veins, spider veins, petechia, bruising easy? Do you see brittle fingernails? All those are all tied to the parathyroid gland. I also barely sweat at all, and we're back to the thyroid again. So there's the cold hands and cold feet, low temperature body temperature, so it's not enough to get yourself sweating. Come down to Florida, I guarantee you I can get you sweating. Our humidity is about 95%. So the heat is intolerable, and the heat is intolerable for many reasons. You're too acidic, and the more acidic you get, the more hot you get. And hot with hot is acid with acid. That's not chemistry. Man does not follow the natural laws of nature. So this is why you see so many die from treatments, especially of the chemos and stuff. You can't try to insult tissue and kill what you don't understand. That's just not the way life is, and it shows ignorance instead of academics. Not good for someone living south of New Orleans. It's hot. Yeah, but you cool yourself off. So what food should you be eating in your situation? Fruits, berries, and melons, honey. Fruits, berries, and melons. They cool you down because they're acid neutralizers. I'm taking licorice root for adrenals and thyroid, which I do better. I feel better on. Good. Yeah. But go after that. Go after your lymph system, get your kidneys, get your adrenals, because all your other female parts are up for grabs. You're already getting hair loss up here from it. So that tells that the uterus is probably already being affected. How about fibrocystic breasts? And you just can go on and on and on from that one system down. But I've got to start sweating and stop this hair loss. Upper circulation, first of all, start hitting the GI tract, GI broom, hit your kidneys, adrenals, and lymphatic formulas. Go hard at this, go on a fruit diet. Go on your grape fasts or grape diets. That's how you clean your body out, and that's how you reinstate tissue growth. And it happens on everybody. Those that are having a hard time, that's how acidic and locked away you are. And remember, we are multiple faceted beings. We're not just physical bodies. We're only using that. We're emotional beings. We use the mind. So there's a lot of levels that we're using to express ourselves in creation. You've got to remember those sides. And through these videos, I've been feeding you ways to become clean of your emotions and your thoughts. And that way your awareness will explode open, and you will see things you never saw before. The answers of things will start coming to you because you're not occupied by thought and by emotions. They don't dominate your life anymore. Your awareness dominates your life. And that's how you want it. Then you can play consciously and have fun. And that's what this is all about. Developing your ability to have conscious awareness while you play in creation. If not, it's a hell of a bumpy ride. I suspect lymphatic and parathyroid. You are good. You are good. You guys are so good. I'm proud of you so much. I keep hearing all good stuff about you guys, and you just are really picking this up and getting it. They're going to have a hard time with you guys. That's all I got to say. They're going to have a hard time with you guys because you guys are not stupid. This is going to really be interesting. I am vegan, so I don't want to use granules. Don't have to use granules. Then I would do the adrenals. I'd do a licorice root with that, and then I would do the endocrine gland formula. Use those three together, and then start moving that lymph system. Upper circulation will help move blood through the thyroid, parathyroid, but also up through the pituitary and the like. Get a picture of your eyes. Never forget that. Get a picture of your eyes, because that's your 5-color glossy of your internal workings of your body. And when you get used to looking at that, and it's so simple of a science. Jensen has real simple, easy how-to books, but real easy. And I've given you some information on this. Level 2, we're going to have a lot more iridology, and get yourselves up to speed. Real simple science. Anybody can learn it. That's what's fun. And then you have a guide right here. And as your body changes, so does your eyes. You have a guide. And I would definitely get used to using that guide. Sometimes we feel naked here without it because we can't see who we're talking to. Yeah, we know you have a tumor, but how bad? How bad's your lymph system? How bad your kidneys and adrenals? See, a machine can only show you pictures. The eye shows you the whole 9 yards. I love that. The God thing. All right, let me see here. Oh, this is Colleen. Attention, Dr. Morris, subject general health inquiry. Hi, Dr. Morris. Colleen here. Thanks, Colleen. I love you too, sweetie. And I'm grateful for you being, thanks, honey. A child in my life, one of whom I unfortunately have little say in terms of life decisions, has been diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. She is 13 years young. I know you have addressed this issue before, but I told my dear husband that I would write to you. Please be so kind to speak to the fear this child's parents face as they become increasingly indoctrinated into the world of daily insulin injections. Blessings. Holy crap. You know, I was thinking about talking about that because my first clients of the day, the wife crashed here. And so I tell you what. We are facing extreme adrenal gland problems. I look at thousands of eyes, and if there's anything I see consistently, it's chronic or borderline degenerative adrenals. It's only a few of you that have subacute levels. And when you're getting into this level, you're affecting your blood sugars in a lot of different ways. Neurologically, of course, but also in metabolitic type ways. When the adrenals are down, that's type 2. And it doesn't matter what sugar you're consuming with type 2. With type 1, it is essential that you move to fructose. Fructose, even though a simple sugar like glucose, has a simple pathway. Matter of fact, do I have those pathways over here for you? I just had Attila give me these pathways so I could show you guys. It's extreme intellectual dig, but the pathways are fructose and glucose. But fructose is a non-insulin needing simple sugar, where glucose is a need for a carrier. So insulin is a hormone carrier. Most carriers are amino acids. So you have receptor sites on the cells for all these sort of things, interactions. When you're having problem with the beta cells, of course, it can be neurological problems with the beta cells, or it can be the beta cells themselves. If the beta cells themselves, then it's the lymph system within the pancreas. That also means the lymph system in the GI tract wall and possibly in the liver is involved as well. So you can't be afraid of this, and we are Homo sapiens. We are a islander species. We're frugivores. So this young lady's 13, and her academics will appreciate this. She needs to be on a fruit, berry, and melon diet. Get away from vegetables, because vegetables are glucose, and it'll spike your blood sugar. After a few days or a few weeks of glucose loading and unloading, you'll find that your blood sugars will stabilize beautifully. And I would say that hook her to Marcy, because Marcy had been a type 1 for 35 years. The problem that you're going to put your daughter on when you enter the world of insulin, it is a hormone. And the pancreas is an endoexocrine gland, meaning that's a ductless and a duct gland. And let me tell you, you do not give hormones to tissue and expect that tissue to do anything but get worse. And this is why you have to be, you would be better to stick this girl on metformin or glucophage while you're cleaning up this pancreas or her nervous system leading to it. That's essential. You're going to have to do it someday or another. And the longer you have her on insulin, the more your little girl's compromised, and the more serious her problems are going to be. This one lady's coming off of her insulin, but her medical doctor had her high up on insulin plus glucophage plus metformin. And this lady's a nurse. And she's crashing. She's bam, bam, bam. You had her so high that she dropped so low, you've got to be very careful how you do your insulins. And this is exactly why we don't recommend that. We recommend you grab these people first as they're on their way, and controlling their blood sugars through diet and at least metformin or glucophage temporarily. Now let me say, you start them on insulin, that's a road to hellville. It's just like dialysis. It's a road to hellville, and it's hard to get out of that. And it takes a practitioner as a rule to help you do it. So I'm not about putting little children on insulin at all. So the problem is you can change that real quick by changing the diet real quick. You get her away from proteins. You want to see blood sugar spike? Put her on fruit for about 2 weeks and then give her a protein, and I'll show you what happens to her blood sugar. Matter of fact, put her on fruit for a couple of weeks and give her a vegetable, and I'll show you what happens to her blood sugar. You can prove all this stuff to yourself. You don't have to take my word for it. Prove it to yourself because it's factual. And it depends how brittle she is and all these other things. But you would want to get into the kidney and adrenal glands because you have to address this both neurologically and cellularly. That's how I would do it, not seeing her eyes and everything. So neurologically, you know the adrenal glands are very much involved because that's the autonomic nervous system. So you would definitely want to hit the adrenal glands because what else? If it was the beta cells themselves, it would be the adrenal and kidney involvement. Why? The lymphatic system. So you want to do those. And another thing, I would do the pancreatic form if it was me, right? We do have a very strong blood sugar, I don't want to say controlling, but we have a strong blood sugar formula. I would use herbs as much as I could before I move into pharmaceuticals, particularly hormones, because you just screw yourself and your children. Not good. This is not good. You got to fix these things. And by the way, you want to fix it anyway. This is a female. So she's going to have babies someday. And those babies are all going to be type 1s, but worse. And you just see where we're taking ourselves? Man's taking himself right into Hellville. With the blessings of the governments and everything. Come on down. We're overpopulated as it is. Remember the world order? So you got to be real careful. You're falling right into what they want you to do. They're herding us like cattle. The only way you can break that is wake up. Because they're controlling your mind. They've been doing this for eons. I remember back in Vietnam they were using mind control. But those are some of the things I would look at and do for type 1. But when you're type 1s or even type 2s, if you're on high levels of insulin, you're going to have some problems when you're starting to come off of that. That's why you want to get on fruit, and you want to be every hour with a bowl of fruit. Because you know what happens if you don't. So you can swing, boom, boom, boom. This lady's blood sugar probably hit the 30s this morning. So this is the sort of thing you got to be careful. And medical doctors don't. That's way beyond their thinking. That's not their level of thinking, but it's our level of thinking. And we have to because we fix things. And when you fix things, you just can't pass out candy. You know, let's see here. This is Maddison. Hi, I'm 18 years old from Australia. I am currently studying at university and play sports 3 times a week. Oh, cool beans. I eat 2 fully raw meals each day with a low-fat vegan dinner generally. I am taking your herbs twice a day in order to clear the sulfur. Oh, yeah. Yeah, matter of fact, we got some interesting things coming for that. Someone was telling me that they thought peaches, I think it was peaches, helped to strip sulfur out. I don't know. Give it a try. Let's see, I am taking sulfur out of my eyes as well as my kidneys and lymph system. Smart girl. Matter of fact, if you're in athletics, I've said this over and over again, enjoy the ride because as soon as you get these obstructions out of your body, you're going to have energy you never knew existed. You're going to feel power in your muscles that you never knew existed. And no matter how big or small they are, it doesn't matter. You're going to feel the power of spirit, prana, the life force, whatever you wish to call it. You're opening the doors for that. So you're now going to see the flow of the life force through you at a higher level than ever before. And you'll appreciate that on all levels. But if you're an athlete, oh my God, your endurance levels out the roof. Good stuff. And you want to keep moving yourself deeper and deeper and cleaning deeper and deeper and get those adrenals up. That's your neurotransmitters. That's your epinephrines, your adrenalines. And you get good adrenals, man, you're going to go boom, boom, boom. Don't even get tired. I got a guy up there one time, and he was constantly running 5-10 miles, going to the gym. I think I told you about it. I had my health food store right by a gym at one time, years and years ago. And he came in. I was in my office at like 7 in the morning. Had so much work to do. And he comes in, working out in the gym. He said, I already been to the beach early this morning at 4 run 5 miles. And I said, my God. He said, well, he said, you know what? I'm just bored. I've got so much energy. I'm going, you wanted it. I said, now you got to balance out a little bit. So this exciting stuff. And exciting times should be for each and every one of you, because this is your remedy. Don't let your mind come in and break that too. You know, the mind comes in and always has the buts and what ifs. Look around and look at all the people that got their remedy already. Look at Hildy, where she was. And I wish we'd have filmed this. We're not quite narcissistic enough to film everything, but we did film the one years ago. We still probably have that one. If I can get that one, I'll show you that one. But these ALS cases that we have that are highly, highly, highly advanced. And the one I told you about that didn't speak, in a wheelchair, locked up, now she's singing and stuff. If you like, I'll bring her in here and put her on a video. Huh. I'd love to have the picture to show you what she looked like before, and you'll be able to hear her talk. And it's just she wasn't speaking it, or couldn't speak at all neurologically. So, I'd love for you to see that. I ran a radio show for several years down here, and I got so bored of trying to find information to give out that I just started sticking my clients on and letting them tell the story. Don't believe me, talk to my client who went through it. And that's the best way. Proof's in the pudding, well, they used to say where I come from. But good work, sweetheart. How am I to continue to take herbs without feeling too tired to participate in these activities? If you're feeling tired, sweetie, that's your blood pressure. And if you check your blood pressure bilaterally, I think you're going to find it going down, down, down. And what's happening is you're removing the proteins and the stimulants. So now you're seeing what your tissues are genetically, because you can't drop below that unless you damage them more than you would. But you're going to go back to genetic memories of the cells. And that's what's happening. And you're, how old, 18? I can tell you have weak adrenals. How low is your blood pressure? You know, your top number is your adrenal glands. Systolic, top number, blood pressure. Check both arms. It's a good look at your adrenal function. And when you start on this program, you're getting away from your meat stimulants, your neurotransmitter stimulants, right? And proteins are stimulants without the neurotransmitters. So you're off of stimulants. Well, you don't need stimulants if you're healthy, right? You should be dynamic and energetic if you're healthy. You shouldn't need to stimulate yourself. Red Bull for everyone, right? No. Dynamic energy comes from the cell itself, right? Right. Also comes from a clean mind and a detached emotional side. So, if you're feeling weak, again, look at those adrenals. You have to go up with licorice, more adrenal glands, because you don't want to use the glanders, which is okay with me. Don't push them, just we use them but use those things and just relax. Go into the fruits, berries, and melons. Don't eat anything less than that because you'll lose energy less than that. And if you have any athletic performance to do, don't do veggies. Notice athletes that you do better if you don't eat. That's right, because your energy, you just suck a lot of energy into your digestive tract, and now you're trying to run or trying to do it. You don't eat before you do that. And that's the reason. But if you want to see that in play, go to fruits, berries, and melons. That gives you energy. And that's cool. Cool, cool, cool. Well, have fun with that. Now, let's see this. Chris, can you please email me when the video, okay. What is this? Oh, this is ASAP. I have a client that wanted me to send Dr. Morse a letter below for his opinion. I have him on raw except at night and sweet potatoes. By next week, I will put him on all raw. I suggest that he will start the... Okay, let's see who this is. This is for Sarah. Good evening, my name is Robert. Wait a minute, my name's Robert. Well, we got a bunch of Roberts here. I was recently diagnosed with prostatitis. All right, so you have kidney problems, right? Brief history about myself. Wait a minute, prostatitis, isn't that kidney problems? You have to understand that when you have these inflammatory problems, no matter where in the body, it's your kidneys that are the key. And your prostate's just right there. It's your kidneys that's causing this, and you can't just treat the prostate. You got to go into the kidneys and start getting them to start filtering. That'll then start moving the lymph out of the prostate and start circulating these acids out of there, and everybody goes back to normal and everybody's healthy. Or if you burn a cell and they just happen to biopsy that part of the prostate, suddenly you're diagnosed with what? So again, this also affects L4 and L5, lower back. So there's another problem that's facing you coming up. And of course, the prostate's even lower. So L4, 5, right, and going on down to 3, 2, and then up the other way, going down into the sacral, tailbone and the like. Oh, look at this. Brief history about myself. I'm 26 years young. This is only a 26-year-old, but this is what's happening. It's like the 18-year-old with polycystic ovarian syndromes. I mean, these young people are going through hell because we weren't listening. People weren't paying attention. We got into capitalism too much or something. I don't know what it is. We lost or where we ever had it. Spirituality. Our love for each other. The need to help each other properly. I was diagnosed with areas of inflammation in my prostate area about 2 months ago. So again, you know your lymph system's down, your kidneys and adrenal glands at the core of that. So when you have prostatitis, you've got kidney and adrenal gland problems. I had a small sexual encounter 2 months ago, and a few days after I developed burning in my urethra. Burning in the lower abdominal area. Wow. Lower back pain, and was tested for all stats, which all came back negative. During that time period, I went to numerous doctors and was then diagnosed with prostatitis from a nephrologist based on a bladder ultrasound that showed potential areas of inflammation in my prostate. And you probably have a little in the bladder and a little in the, you know, it's because it's a systemic problem again. Same system that everybody else is having problems. Location, location, location. That's all it is. And the proof of that is you can all do the same thing and everybody gets well. That's got to hurt. That's got to hurt somebody. From my understanding, most likely I had a untreated UTI that led to prostatitis. Yeah. That's just what, when I give you that, and no offense, sorry medical doctors, but you just opened it for this. That's, like I say, using the ass end of the donkey. How about the same reason for both problems? The lymph system. This isn't a bacterial problem. This is an acid problem. Don't you wish it was a bacterial problem? That'd be easy. Little antibiotics, done. But why would they be present? They're not present in tissue like that. Not supposed to be. Why? Because they're in the lymph nodes where they're supposed to be. Because the lymph nodes come before the kidneys and bladder. Right? Okay. Now, prior to being diagnosed, I made several doctor visits and had multiple urinalyses that showed results that were never the same. One urinalysis showed blood in the urine. I showed few bacteria, most recent. Why would you have bacteria? This isn't about bacteria. Most recent showed high abnormal bacteria with no bacterial growth in my urine culture, and 3 of them showed traces, abnormal amounts of ketones in my urine, including my most recent one. After being diagnosed with prostatitis, I went to 2 separate urologists. See, you're playing in the fields of dreams. That's why you're getting mixed messages, because they don't have a friggin' clue. So you want them to tell you what it is, but you don't get it yet that these people don't know what it is. So you're getting mixed messages. When you get mixed messages, you get the truth, you get the truth. And it'll ring home. You'll understand it when someone tells you the truth. And so you're getting mixed messages. Let me see here. I went to 2 separate urologists, both of which prescribed to take an antibiotic, Cipro. Oh, you want to get yourself killed, do you? Yeah, Cipro, the one that causes blood clots, strokes, and heart attacks. That's Cipro? Okay. I did not take Cipro due to my research on, I love this person already. Now, this is a smart person. This guy looked up and researched the side effects, adverse effects of Cipro, and decided not to take it. Thank you. That's smart. That's what everybody needs to get. Don't just take what people give you. Look it up. I'm proud to show you what our herbs do. You know, so Cipro, I have a file on it, and anybody that's on Cipro, you're walking a dangerous walk. And have not taken an antibiotic to this present day. You can take Parasite M or something like that, but remember, this is not a bacterial problem. This is an acid problem. This is much worse. Much worse. Because the next step, of course, they're going to diagnose it with cancer. Why? Because acids on the outside of a cell create inflammation. Intra, meaning inside the cell, acidosis, destroys the mitochondria, the DNA. You can imagine all the organelles of cells. Because acids, that's their nature. They destroy. They break down. They're corrosive. So, this is why it's so important that you fix this problem, because you're burning yourself. And the next thing from burn is, exactly, and this is systemic. You're feeling it down here, but guess what? The rest of you, that side of the body's involved. So if it's on the left, you got heart, you got all kinds of problems, if you're a left-sided heart person, which most people are, but there are right-sided hearts. Now, this is very small print, so forgive me for squinting, but this is so small I cannot even read it, even with my readers. Let me see here. All right. I went to see my second urologist for a second opinion. He examined my prostate by using his finger. Prior to the exam, I did not have a burning pain in the prostate until my urologist went picky, picky, picky. Examined that area with his finger. Since then, I have pain that comes and goes in my lower back near the prostate area. Well, he just woke up what's there, man. He just, you know, that's why you don't have to monkey with things like that. All you had to do is pull your PSAs and say, you know what, here's what you need to do. Clean up your kidneys, get your kidneys filtered, and get your adrenals up. That'll pull all that out. It'll fix. But you see how you felt your lower back, too? Mm-hmm. From L4 down, that's all your lower burner. That's all your kidneys and your uterus and your ovaries and your prostate and all of that, bladder and all of that. So when you're having lower back and coccyx problems, guess what you're having? Mm-hmm. Your back is designed as you go up the body. You know, each vertebrae goes to different organs and glands. And you just have a whole system there designed. So as you go down, everything spreads out from the spine, nerves, lymph. Let me see here. My current symptoms, well, you know, to have that with a finger poke just means how inflamed you are. And all he did was irritate it. But see how that neurologically had a feeling to the back and everything else? Because everything's interconnected in the body. But this is a kidney problem, not a prostate problem. It's a prostate problem now. Probably a bladder problem, but you got to fix the kidney and adrenals to fix this thing. Let me see here. I have pain that comes and goes in my lower back near the prostate area, and I have burning sensation in the prostate whenever I eat specific foods. Could you tell me what those are? Because I already know. My current symptoms consist of frequent urination, that's inflammation, acidosis, burning in my prostate, burning. What side of chemistry burns? Well, alkalis will burn. You know, bleach is what, 12.5 pH? That'll burn you good. So even 11 will burn you bad. See, so high alkalis, but acids will burn even in the higher numbers. Let me see. Cramping, burning, feeling at least part of my intestines. Oh yeah, you're all inflamed all through your lower part of your body there. It just spreads all over. It's kind of like when a woman has endometriosis. Her bowels can get involved. The uterus can weld itself to the colon wall. Oh yeah. So when they do hysterectomies, they have to cut the uterus off the colon wall because acids weld. So when your lymph system backs up, your acids are backing up, your body starts welding itself. So you start getting harder, stiffer, tighter. Everyone experiences that feeling in the shoulders and everywhere else. That's all acidosis. And lymph's not moving well. And you have to fix it. And it's very fixable. Whenever I drive, I always experience a lower back pain, needle feeling that it is consistent, occasional flank pain, and dull pain in my lower right back side near my liver. You know what? You've got an awful lot of pain for just a little prostatitis. So what's your PSAs? You haven't mentioned that. And where are you at with that? You want to look at your PSAs, and you know they had to pull them for you because there's not a urologist out there that thinks there's a prostate without pulling PSAs, right? So you haven't mentioned that here. I have taken steps to treat my condition by taking a detox with the raw oasis, and I noticed that eating sweet potatoes gives me the most relief. Interesting. You know why? Major anti-inflammatory. Sweet potatoes in particular, really anti-inflammatory. They're like the yam. We use yam. Yam is like natural progesterone. So we use yam creams, remember that, for the females when they have low progesterone levels, because it mimics similar actions as progesterone. So a lot of the creams weren't progesterone creams, they were yam creams. So this is why. And it just shows you again that your problem is acidosis. Well, if it's acidosis, of course, then what system's down? That's your lymph system. And of course, that's controlled by kidneys and adrenals. And of course, the thyroid and the skin. I'm worried about my health, and I would be, my friend. I mean, you're walking right into prostate cancer. I mean, using their terminology, you're walking right into the decay, the appropriate word, you're walking right into the decay of your prostate. And maybe even part of your bladder, and your kidneys are probably already moving that. Who knows? Pull your eyes, take a look, man. But you want to fix this one, then you should be more than concerned, because this leads to nothing but prostate cancer, lower back cancer, all that. You're burning all those tissues. Everything you feel, you're burning them. And see where you're feeling it all over the place? That's because your lymph is backed up all over the place. And you're feeling the burn. Burns, yeah? Remember, I've used this analogy a lot. Remember, for those people, those folks that have had babies, and they know what a wet diaper will do to a baby's bottom, if not changed in a timely manner. Imagine the same scenario, but you never change the baby's diaper. What's going to be going on inside the baby's skin? You're going to chew it right off. And that's exactly what's happening inside of all of us. So it's real important that you understand that there's only two sides of chemistry, acids and base. Base is the females, acids are the men. The ladies are healers, the men are aggressives, they're corrosive. So the body produces a lot of acid waste just from the whole processes of cells consuming foods and the activity of those cells, whether it's muscle activity, endocrine gland activity, I don't care what activity. And those byproducts and waste must be gotten rid of through a sewer system. What's the sewer system in the human body? Is the blood, the kitchen, and the sewer system. That's what medical doctors think. And I have to tell you, my friends, there's not much more of a stupider thought than that. You can't have both. Chemically impossible. And any biochemist that thinks that, you're not a biochemist. Because there's no way you can compromise the pH of the blood by dumping high level of acids into it. It is insanity thinking, and what need would the lymph system be at all? No, you got to get up with the lymph system, people. It's really important, and medical doctors in particular, because you're not understanding simple things about why people suffer so much. And you just have to learn about the lymph system and a little chemistry with that. And a lot of you guys have had pretty good chemistry. It's just not taught properly. All right, so let me see. I should immediately commit to and as well as herbal products that can help. I would also like to know whether I or not I should take antibiotics to treat my condition. Well, first of all, you're asking the wrong guy. I don't treat anything, and I don't recommend pharmaceuticals. And I don't consider this a bacterial problem. And if it is, leave them alone, because they'll eat up the acids and then you'll be free from it. Because if you have bacteria outside of the lymph nodes, you created the environment for it. And it's an acid environment. And that's all bacteria are there for. They're not after your tissues, they're after the waste. That's what their job is. So man's problem started using antibiotics, ignoring the acidosis of the human body and the type of foods that man's putting into a tropical body. We're putting dead animals, beans, grains, putting all the crap that's dead and cooked into a living, breathing tropical body. Doesn't work. Just look around. And look around at what happens when you start living tropically and taking a few herbs to fix the thing, you get your life back. It's that simple. Once we get this established, then man can spend his attention somewhere else and his money somewhere else and having fun. I'm going in for an MRI of the pelvic, lower abdomen, and prostate area to see if there's anything else going on. Be careful, my friend. Be careful. Because sometimes the need to know might not be good. It's enough to say, this is something you want to deal with. Because the next step, of course, inflammation, atrophy, decay, degeneration. Their word, cancer. But that's the natural rhythm. It's not mysterious. If I hold acids against a baby's bottom for years, am I going to decay their bottom? Big time. Ask some of these ladies that have had the acids in the female areas what that's like. And what happens to the vulva, what happens to the female side. Atrophy and decay. And that's just what acids do. And until you remove them, you can't do a thing about it except put oils on them to try to cool them down. And that's why these high-fat diets feel better. But ketosis is the end result of that, which is a form of acidosis. And it doesn't fix the problem. You're just trying to throw some anti-inflammatory power in there, some acid power, more aptly put, on top of acids. But they're still there. You're not doing anything about removing them. So treating doesn't do anything but throw more into the mix. You still have stagnant lymph. You still haven't done anything. Same with surgeries. Haven't done anything to fix the problem. And nowadays, we're in these chronic and degenerative levels. You can't just sit back. By the way, on the PSAs, I've had PSAs in here. Now, how old are you? I don't see an age yet. Oh, 26. Ugh, it's good. Here, get this. You could have had a PSA and it had been 2, and your medical doctor said no problem. I had a 43-year-old in here 10 years ago with PSAs of 2, prostate cancer. Why? See, what they did in blood work is they changed the PSA ratios from 0 to 3 to 0 to 4. And I'm asking myself, why are you going up instead of going down? Because that shows unconsciousness about genetics and what's actually going on in people's worlds of health. And if anybody should know that, shouldn't medical doctors know that? They don't. And that's the problem. They don't even care. It's not about that. It's a different system. But the genetics are so bad now, the PSAs, you can have 2 and have prostate cancer. So you see, it's scary when you're young like that, and you're half that guy's age. So, I don't know. You could have prostate cancer at 1 probably in the future. That's scary as hell, because a lot of men have 1 already. So it's just that. Hey, Tracy. Hi, Dr. Moss. I was wondering if you might be able to do a spiritual video on the topic of death and dying for those who are close to making their transition, and also for the people who are caring for them. Thank you so much, Tracy. Thank you, sweetheart. Yeah, I need to do more spiritual videos. I've been digging heavily into the class and other things around here we're doing for you. We're doing a lot of research. I've got Attila and Marcy and me, we're just pouring into it. I've got Jim B working her multiple arms and doing all, I mean, everybody around here is working into the night. So all I can say is doing our best. Whew. But let's talk about that just for a minute, and then I'll do a spiritual video on death and dying, because funny words, isn't it? Death and dying. Funny words that simply mean transition. Funny words for me just simply moving your attention from one location to the next. You know, you can look over here, and then you can look over here. When you look over here, where you looked before dies away, and this is your new light. That's because you're only looking through eyes. When you start looking higher, especially when you start looking from consciousness, there's no just here. You're seeing almost 360 degrees. You can see so much more because your mind isn't limiting your focus of vision. And you're not limiting your focus of vision by focusing in on something. Remember that art where you see all those little dots, and then in the art they have different figures, and you have to detach yourself. You can't look at the dots. You have to pull back from the dots so you can see behind the dots. Same type of thing. You're quieting your mind and you're stepping back in consciousness. And that's just what you have to do. If you feel like you can't get this and you're in an advanced case, I've never really talked about this before because I'm a very positive thinker. And not that staying on this planet is positive at all versus leaving, because that's not true at all, not even close. Staying is worse, because if you're not coming back, you're going to the next level. The next level is the astral world, and it's, who was it, Robin Williams? Didn't he do a movie once about that, where his loved one left or something, translated, and he got to visit her in the astral world, and the movie had all these bright colors, where somebody had out-of-body travels that made that movie, because that's exactly the way it is. Everything is neon bright. It's just, you know, fall colors in New Hampshire, White Mountains. They got that from the astral planes. I mean, I'm telling you, the colors there, you see colors you've never seen before, and it's just bright and energetic. I can't even tell you, but I can't remember the name of that movie. But that was a good movie to show you. The next world that you go to is far greater than this one, let me tell you, and not chemical. So your experience is far greater. That's the preparation I would be making. If I know that I'm not making it physically, I want to try to, and I don't know how one can do it that fast, and this is why I'm teaching you now how to end your responsibilities. I'll call it responsibilities. Buddha called it karma. Jesus called it you reap what you sow. And in physics, we call it for every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction. That is the driver. That drives chemistry. That drives the lower worlds. And it drives thought. It drives emotion. Duality drives all aspects of creation. So if you want to transition in a better way, you want to forget this world. Start letting everything go. Nothing you have means anything, and you don't want it to, or you'll take a journey right back here, because you planted yourself here. And remember, this is just a physical body that's leaving. Your mind and emotions aren't leaving you, just your physical body's leaving you. You still will have your emotions. I've been out of the body a lot. And let me tell you, you still have your emotions if you still have an astral body. You don't have an astral body anymore. You don't have emotions anymore. You're above that. Let me tell you, it gets you more and more expanded into pure consciousness. In pure consciousness, there's no thought, there's no emotion, there's no desire. It's infinite. It's not finite. There's no points of identification. It's totally different. It goes from the limited to the unlimited, the finite to the infinite. And there's nothing you can say about it. You can only experience it. You can only just be it. And that's your true nature. So if you're losing your physical body, don't fear much, because you got a nice new one waiting for you. And all it is your attention. If you want to get as high as you can toward God, toward the Godhead, then you've got to start getting your emotions out of you and gone. Your thoughts, forget thinking, learn how to stop thinking. Start letting everything just work through you. Just surrender to spirit, or to the prana, or to the life force. Just let go. Let go and surrender. And you'll start feeling yourself uplift, and maybe at night it'll pull you right out. The beautiful thing about passing on raw foods, excuse me, about raw foods and herbs, is that you'll have a very peaceful, and if you keep your awareness open, you'll see your spiritual guides coming to you. I've seen that many times with some people that we couldn't save. I'd be over there with them while they pass. You see their spiritual guides coming for them. I mean, it's cool stuff I'm talking about. But, cool stuff. You never have to fear stuff like that, because nothing can happen to you but what you let it to. And if you let other people in your world, people you can't even see, that's why you don't want to be a channeler. You don't want to open yourself psychically to anything, because there's a lot of beings that would like to sit in on people. You know, what was that beautiful one? Patrick Swayze did with Demi Moore. Oh, the ghost or whatever it was. Oh my God. But it showed you that she was channeling, and that people would step in on her. Absolutely. And that's the problem. They can step in on you when you don't even know it. And you just have to be prepared for stuff like that, you know. So becoming more aware of who you are and appreciative of who you are is the key. Because if you're going to translate, you can't take anybody with you. You have to start letting go of your loved ones and everything else, knowing that they're just friends that you are now leaving. Because all of us leave alone. All of us come here alone. Our society doesn't prepare anybody for that. Everybody sucks in the social consciousness, so everybody herds together. So when one of the herd's going to die, oh my God, no. Well, this is a touch-and-go planet for you pilots. This is a touch-and-go planet, and we come and we go. But what you create stays with you because you take your mind and your emotions with you. They don't leave. Only your physical body's leaving. Now, if you're a higher being and you already have worked yourself, you're going to lose all your bodies to the level you've created for yourself. That's why I'm giving you all the clues to get as high as you can, and as open as you can, and as aware as you can, and as healthy as you can. But for some of you, it is your time to go. I have to admit that. And we can't step in that way. But we can help you to go to the other side, so to speak. You know, when Doc Jensen passed, Maria brought her down here for a little while. Got a psychic friend, and they were conversing. She got to talk to Dr. Jensen, you know, and he said, you know, honey, it was just like walking across the street. So that's the sort of thing. So enjoy yourselves in all levels, because you're going nowhere from the self. You might, and let me tell you, it's hard to explain in a short video, but every one of us has a body in the astral world, in the mental worlds. So we all can be together. That's how I can come to you guys, because you all have mental bodies like me, and I can come to you. And the same thing in your emotional bodies. We all have them. So it's a party, baby, on all levels. So you don't fear anything. But you'll fear the most if you don't understand and know yourself. If you don't spend any time alone with yourself, those are the most fearful people, because they've never taken any time to get to know who they are. All their focus while they're here is outside of themselves, on other people, other things, other activities. And suddenly you're pulled back to the self going, oh my God, I'm scared now, because you don't know yourself. This is the first love. Not love in terms of narcissism, but love in terms of you're okay, you're part of the divine like everything else is. And so you got to accept yourself and love yourself, no matter how tall, how short, how fat, how skinny, how pretty, how ugly. Doesn't matter. These are only mental images. They don't matter. It's you, and you're beautiful in all ways. You're unique. We have to have all these different uniquenesses. Without that, everybody'd be the same. Imagine going to a world where everybody looked the same, dressed the same, everything's the same. Boring, and that's socialism. Yuck. Anyway, if you're one of those that are going to translate, you got a lot of spiritual beings out there right now helping us and helping all around. So you don't have to worry too much about being alone. But you want to be aware of that. And how do you become aware of your spiritual beings around you? Free your attention and your thoughts from everything outside and just become in the now, where you can start to see. Pretend that life is that painting with the dots. And if you want to see beyond the dots, which is the physical world, you must withdraw your attention from the dots. Simple, when you understand it. All right. I'll do a few more, and then we'll cut off, because this is going to be a long video with the first part on there like this and this long video, so I apologize greatly with that. All right. This is ResearchStory. You got me excited now. Do not understand how a person can be against organic sulfur intake. There are remarkable testimonials. I don't care how remarkable testimonials. You know why there's remarkable testimonials? Because sulfur suppresses, major suppressant. That's why antibiotics work real well at first, especially your sulfur varieties, which is your penicillins and the like. Then what happened? People got allergic to them, didn't they? You know why? Because they overdid it. Too much sulfur. Now, I have to deal with all this sulfur in people's eyes. If you want to take organic sulfur, you go right ahead. But don't come bitching to me when your gut starts giving you hell, Bill. For a while, it feels good. Everything's suppressed. Oh, everything's better. Glucosamine's the same way. Glucosamine, chondroitin, all these things. Are you kidding me? Wait till you stop taking them. Guess what happens? Double the pain. You just can't use suppressants like sulfur. Sulfur is pungent, and it tells you to stay away. And you can do it if you want. You can read all the testimonials you want. But let me tell you from a lot of experience, we deal with heavy sulfur in people. And it is not pleasant. It is not pretty on them. Because one, it promotes fungal growth like nobody's business, and number two, it is a major acid to the gut. It makes you feel like you have acid reflux. You always feel gassy, bloaty. Not a fun thing. But you go ahead. If you want to take it, go step right up to the chute. I do not recommend sulfur in any form except what comes naturally appearing in fruits. I don't even recommend cruciferouses. And anybody that has sulfur in them eating cruciferouses probably not feeling too good with all the gas they're getting. Now, remarkable testimony all over the world. That's right, all over the internet. Only because it's a suppressant. You don't treat with isolates, and that is especially true with iodine and sulfurs. And the good doc failed to even address the subject here. I'm not afraid to address the subject at all. You don't want to do that at all. Organic compounds or not. I read the stuff. Matter of fact, I just got someone who's selling the organic sulfur. Let them take all they want. Why would you need it? You don't need so. And an isolate of a mineral? Don't think so. You're messing with your whole chemistry, and it's not good. And sulfur doesn't go in and out. So be very cautious. That's all I got to say. Be very cautious. Have it if you want, but if you're having symptoms, you want to address your lymphatic system. You don't want to treat yourself with sulfur. Same thing as treating yourself with a high lipid diet. Your symptoms are better. You feel better. Oh, look, I'm good. Future. Wait till the time starts packing on. It's like taking digestive enzymes. Oh, I feel so much better. I can digest my food better. 2 years from now, I can't digest a thing. See, so you just got to remember, I've been around a long time, seen a lot of things, a lot of pitches like this. They pitched sulfur for years. Medical doctors, that's not new. Medical doctors have pitched sulfur. They did sulfur in the 50s and 40s. They used to use sulfur to treat everything. Now you see all the sulfur in people. It's a nightmare. Nightmare from hell. So I totally disagree with the use of organic sulfur in any way, shape, or form. Same thing with silver. Everybody in the silvers. You don't take metals at high levels. You don't do that. Look at how it turned. Well, the Blue Man Group isn't, but look at the guy that turned blue, and it messes with all the other chemistry. I don't like to mess with chemistry that way. I've had enough chemistry in my world to last me a lifetime. I respect chemistry like nobody's business, and the need of man to isolate and treat is his problem. Got to get out of that problem. Mira, hello, Dr. Morris. I'm so grateful that you are here to help us. Oh, thanks, honey. Appreciate that. My question is for my 18-month-old baby. Whenever I feed him fruits, especially berries, he gets a really bad diaper rash. Oh, look at that. Fungus. Full of fungus. Now, I'm wondering, is the rash from the berries or are the fruits pulling the acids from them? But it could be either one, maybe some fungus in this baby. So, 18-month-old baby. I would get we have the glycerin, and not the infused glycerin. This is our new glycerin line. Ooh, so good. I love them. So, you want to get the, and we're going to have baby ones, but you want to get the glycerin kidney. I would get the glycerin parasite M. I also would get the glycerin endocrine glands. And give your baby a few drops, depending on weight. Give them a few drops with the fruits and stuff and help clean that out. And that'll help clean that rash. Get those kidneys filled, because you want to make sure your baby's kidneys and adrenals are filtering now. Because remember, this baby has your lymph system. So if you want to know where your baby's lymph system is, take a picture of your eyes. If you can't get your baby's eyes, take a picture of your eyes, and you'll see your baby's lymph system. Mama, baby. Tied lymphatically. And the berries are just pulling. I mean, just showing you that. Now, could have a lot of candida in that too. So again, the parasite will take care of that. The kidneys and adrenals or the endocrine gland will help open up that flow. And the fruit will help the lymph system move and everything will be good there. If you could answer my question, I would appreciate it. Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Morris. Oh, thanks very much. And when I tell my staff, you guys say thank you too, because they work hard, believe it or not. And they're all good. They all work hard. We all are good people. We're all after people's health. And it's a trip when you have this level of problems in people. We're very busy because there's a lot of sick people. Sad stuff out there. Sad stuff out there. And I just thank you guys for helping and all becoming one with us so we can turn on this planet a little bit. I think it's a lot of fun. Consider yourself messengers of God. You're the bearers of light. You're here bringing the light to the darkness. And that's how you have to see yourself. You're the light bearers. You bear the truth to the world. And those people that bear truth a lot of times get shit all the time, don't they? Absolutely. People don't understand. Look at Jesus and look at Buddha, but particularly Jesus and what he went through. You know, and he's not the only one. All the spiritual guys go through stuff like that, and gals. People chastise them, people, all kinds of things. This is a tough world to make a change. The mind is solidified here, and these are the negative forces. So you just got to realize you're the light giver. But to be the light giver, you want to be in the light. I just found you and actually agree with all your mind. I come to ask for help because I have a friend in a wheelchair. Let's get him out of that wheelchair. I hate wheelchairs. Lower body for 10 years. He had serious motorcycle accident and his spinal cord is pinched from where the doctors say. Oh, okay. Therefore, it can hardly have children. It is a lovely and considerate boy, he then, who does not deserve what happens to him. I come to you to see if you can help. Thank you. This is Virginia. Virginia? Virginie? Something like that. But always love to get people out of chairs. That is my pet love. I love that. First of all, you got to understand that things don't happen here out of happenstance. Nothing happened in God's world just out of happenstance. Everything is highly planned and already. So this young man had to pay back something. So he has a chance to get rid of that karma right now, and that is move him into, and this is the lad you want to all on, fruits, berries, and melons. That's where you want to be, fruits, berries, and melons. And you want to go into full-bore detox. You want to get the kidneys, the adrenals, the GI tract, and there's reasons for this. At the same time, brain and nerve. And since this isn't a tumor, you can use upper and lower circulation. And I would use brain and nerve number 2. I would also make sure that parathyroid, that's essential in nerve transmission and repairing damaged skeletal tissue, or connective tissue even. Make sure that parathyroid, wouldn't hurt to even go a couple of bottles of a parathyroid glandular to at least 20 milligrams. For us, till we get our 50s, that would be 2 of them. And I would take the bones formula with that. Now the herbs in the bones formula is like comfrey, knit bone. That's why the FDA doesn't want comfrey. Its name is knit bone. That wouldn't do well for the Benevas and the Fosamax, which cause the dead bone jaw syndrome. So that's what we're up against. But you want to get this lad 100% fruits, berries, and melons, and you want to get him on the herbs and start cleaning and enhancing and strengthening. And then let's get him out of that chair. Now, because it's very doable. The body can regenerate, but not under an acid sky. Injuries, any type of injury or trauma to tissue is the same thing as accumulating acid. It creates acidosis. You just damage cells. You released all these proteins. And so it's all a highly acidic environment. Unless your lymph system is working well, he won't be able to get out of that chair. So he's got to fix all that to fix all of it, whether bone, nerve, muscle, all of that. And he'll get up. So he just has to work on himself with these protocols, and he should be able to get up with no problem whatsoever. You know, we've gotten quads from head-on car crashes, high-level quads, totally reconnected. So I don't think that young man will have too much of a problem. He's more para, right? All right, so I think I better go. I'd like to spend more time with you. This is going to be a long video. But I love you guys a lot. You've done well to help. Some of you guys are just you're just so beautiful. You get it. You're helping so many people. I'm just amazed at the people out there that are feeling better and getting their life better. You get to realize that we're a tropical species. And when you go on a fruit and berry diet, you're going on a tropical diet. That's all you're going on. And it's just returning to your roots. It's funny, when we do that, the body starts getting well. And it just goes to show you what type of being the Homo sapien is. We're a frugivore species. So, great love to each and every one of you. And you have fun. I'm going to be leaving for a week. And so I won't be able to do any videos. But before I do, I'll try to get a whole bunch of them done for you. But we'll see you on the next video. And thanks again for taking your precious time and viewing these videos. I love you for it.